Joining us now on the Harbor One hotline, Andy's going to join us on Zoom as well. And it's from the Raising Money for Boston Children's Hospital, the 11th annual Saving by Shaving. He is the head man, the chief cook, bottle washer, and look at that high and tight on Brad Stevens. Brad, it's Gresham Fourier here, back up in Brighton, and I'm sure you have been told you are a young-looking man. Now you have just shaved 20 years off of your look. You look like you're about fresh out of school, for crying out loud. That is beautiful.
That was probably the last time I had this cut. Was about 20 years ago. But obviously, awesome cause and happy to do it. I'm a little bit taken back because this is the first time I've seen it. I'm looking at the computer screen.
Oh, you're looking at yourself
with the Zoom. So, pardon me if I'm stumbling.
Well, didn't Drew Holiday cut his hair also?
No, Drew was a guest barber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Drew took care of Joe's hair. And, I encouraged Drew to be as creative as he wanted to be. And, he, in typical Drew fashion, he just did his job and did it well and, didn't bring any of the extra flair.
Okay. I was thinking maybe you could treat it like a rookie hazing, haircut where you just do one big line right down the middle and then send him on his way.
Joe and I are the rookies.
So, therefore, no rookie hazing.
Yeah, that's right.
Brad, your team has performed remarkably this year. There's been a lot of talk about Jayson Tatum in terms of winning the MVP. To me, last night was one of those games, if somebody needed to be convinced, hey, why is this guy an MVP? I thought last night's performance is one of those games that you can sort of flip on. You have seen this guy from an 18-year-old to where he is at right now. What are some of the things to your trained basketball eye that really stand out to you about the maturity and the growth of Jayson?
Well, Jason's been a stud ever since he came into the league. Obviously, you knew that it was going to be a path of growth that he was going to take because he takes care of himself. He has a routine. He works really hard. All of those types of things. And, I always kind of harken back to this. We're injured his first year in the playoffs, and we're playing Philly, who is really good, and every play we're calling in the third and fourth quarter seems to be for Jayson Tatum, who's a 19-year-old rookie. And so he's just been doing it for a long time. All he's done is win. Obviously, we all want to be standing there at the end to do something we haven't done with this group. But, this guy has, by the time he's 25 years old, has done stuff that very few people have done. And he should be in any conversation. Listen, there's great players all over the league. And, just like I've said when I vote for all-star stuff, when I was coaching, the winning part really matters. And so the good news is this is a huge talking point outside of our building. It's not a huge talking point in our building. We're very focused on just trying to get better. We all want to be the last team standing. We all know that there's a lot in front of us to do that. And, part of the reason we have a chance to do that is because we've got, several really good players and a guy who has a real chance at the MVP.
Yeah, and I know it seems like the messaging with you guys, Brad, is being compartmentalizing it and not letting any of the outside noise affect you guys. But I am curious if you think Tatum is held to a different standard based on the team that he's on.
I have no idea because I don't really pay attention to all that stuff. I think the way – I think what sometimes gets lost in the shuffle is when you look at – and him and Jalen are right 25 and 26. They're going to turn 26 – or Jalen may have turned 27. But what they've done in their first few years before hitting their prime is rare air. Right, and I think that's something because of how far they've been, there's going to be more scrutiny, there's going to be more eyes and all the stuff that comes with that, and that's just part of it. So if he's held to a different standard, it's because he set the bar for it. It's not because, people are looking at him as anything more than a guy that, they've watched be awesome for a long time, and and he's done an amazing job. But he'd be the first to tell you, and I don't pay attention to everything he says in the media, but I'm guessing that he would be the first to tell you that for him it's about winning in June.
Brad Stevens is with us. What is more fulfilling for you, standing on the sideline, coaching a great team, or sitting up on the 11th floor watching the great team you put together?
Well, in college you do both, and you get a chance to really be obviously the decision maker on putting it together and coaching it. I think one of the things that every college coach would tell you is they don't get to spend enough time on basketball. They don't get to spend enough time thinking about coaching their team. It's probably like 10 or 15% of their time, and I think that's a real thing, and it's a reason why there aren't a lot of people that hold that dual title in basketball of president or GM and coach, just because it's such a task. Both are such tasks. There are benefits and cons to both, and you take great joy in watching the team that you're a part of go through the challenges that the season presents. I think that the thing in coaching is you're just in it. Like, you're so in it. You're so in the weeds of it. You're in every play. You're in every design. You're in every up and down. Here you're taking more of a 10,000-foot view, and I think the 10,000-foot view maybe allows you to appreciate the people you're with even more all the time. And I think that's something that I've really tried to do. I just appreciate. I've loved watching our coaching staff work. I've loved watching our team continue to get better, and I loved watching them be very intent on continuing to get better, because that's what we have to do. Both of them have a lot of positives, though, when you're sitting here and you get to be a part of a team.
Brad, Joe Mazzulla's grown on a lot of people, just, the way he coaches, the way he claps back at, reporters, specifically Kerry Washburn. Like, those two guys have a fun little relationship going back and forth. But curious on your end, what do you know about him now as a coach that you didn't know when he was assistant?
Boy, I mean, I've known him for a long time. He joined our G League staff in like 14 or 15. He was in the locker room next to us as a player in the Final Four in 2010 when Butler and West Virginia were both there. And I didn't know him, but I had watched him close. I used to do a round table with 50 college coaches and people from different industries that would come in and speak for 36 hours in the early fall, so that we could all kind of get our wheels turning to start a season. And he was one of the young coaches that had caught everybody's attention that we invited to speak, and we all left blown away even more. So I would say that nothing has surprised me. He is listen, he's a ultra competitor. He is a lifelong learner. He's not afraid. He's got a lot of the great qualities that you need to be a good coach, and he's really good on both sides of the ball. I mean, we've had really good success, with him leading the way.
Brad, I want to follow up on Christian's question from this end. You're the president of basketball operations, and all of us, when we talk about this team, talk about the Jimmies and the Joes and the team that you put together, but you clearly identified something in Joe Mazzulla that you liked. Is that easy for you to see? Like, you're the president of basketball ops. Not only do you need players, but coaches as well. Like, how do you know when you've got somebody like a Joe Mazzulla where you're like, you know what, that guy's going to be pretty good? Like, what stands out to you to say, oh, that guy is going to be a head coach somewhere someday?
Well, when he took over, it was obviously a really hard situation, and obviously in that moment, there are a lot of qualified people in the building, but I think he's just such a great leader. He's good at galvanizing the room. He knows the game on both ends of the floor. He sees the game in real time, which I think is an important thing, and he just does a great job. And I think that. Listen, I'm not the best cap guy in the world. I'm not Mr. Analytics. I'm not, probably qualified to do any of our nutrition or sports science or any of that stuff. But I guess my professional background is in coaching. So if I hope that I, at least can see a good coach and know a good coach when we see one.
So last one for me, Brad. Porzingis, again, having a great year.
Awesome.
Is this how you kind of envisioned his kind of place on the team? It's like everybody benefits from what he can do. Like tons of assists, and it's just everything he does makes everybody better.
Yeah, and I think the other part is I think he can keep getting better. And I think that's a huge emphasis for our whole team. I mean, individually, we all should be, focused on that. Collectively, we should be focused on that. But I saw a couple plays defensively, especially in the third quarter where he switched on to guards yesterday. He made it a lot harder. Like he's doing some things that I just think he can continue to grow. And, I don't think when these guys are in their 20s or early 30s or Al Horford's 37, I don't think we should put ceilings on where they can go as far as getting better and improving. And so he has done that throughout the course of his career. I'm not surprised that he's had a huge impact on our team, and I'm not surprised that he keeps getting better as the year goes on. He's still, he's another guy that really age-wise is in a lot of ways just entering his prime. And so I think that, he had a huge impact, but I think it could just go up.
At the 11th annual Saving by Shaving, raising money for Boston Children's Hospital, the president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, with us. Now, one other thing before we let you out of here. We mentioned the haircut at the beginning. Did obviously Rob Hale tied into Celtics ownership, all that. Did you let your wife know that this was happening, or like when you walk through the door? I don't know if your wife will go full name on you if you've done something. Bradley Kent Stevens, what did you do? Are you going to get one of those today, or did she clear this buzz cut for you?
Tracy and I have been married for 20 years. We have 2 kids and a dog. I'm 5th in our house. Like, she could care less what I do with my hair. So I think we're all. I can do whatever. So I don't think this will be a big test. I've known all along that I wasn't, in her eyes, the best looking guy in the world. So that's okay.
Okay,
we'll live.
Will your kids give you the business for the shave down?
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll get a little bit of that, but. They know why I'm here. They know it's for a great cause, and we all, we've all visited Boston Children's. We all love Boston Children's, and shaving off some hair for Boston Children's is a no-brainer.
I love it. Well, you win the championship. You got to shave it again for the parade.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to stand out, like Fourier did with the Patriots, except yours won't be slurred words, Brad Stevens. Thanks a bunch. We appreciate the time, and you look great. Hopefully we get to talk to you down the road.
All right, guys. Be well.
There we go. Brad Stevens, he is the president of basketball operations with the Celtics, and you cannot tell me he
looks 12.
He looks like
somebody brought their son.
It's unbelievable. He's 40.
This guy runs in charge of the Celtics.
He's 47. He's Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, he does not age. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. I feel like maybe we should try the same thing. If we just shaved our head and shaved,
Christian,
maybe we would look. If you shaved your beard, you would look, technically, you would look younger.
Whoa. Beard? Okay, fine. I'm not touching my hair.
How many valleys and nooks and crannies would we see in your head if we shaved it?
It happened one time. I was 19. A guy who played on our team, Frank Romano, BS'd. I could do fades. No, it was terrible. And it ended up, and that's
the college haircut.
So there are maybe 25 Rhody Rams that are still around who may have seen it, and one that I'm sure when you eventually meet Nelson, you'll get all the secrets, and then I'm screwed.